Okay, so this is continuing my last video because I got cut off. So we were in quadrant 3. So a point over here is, remembering, both negative for the x and the y. So any point like here, this would be negative 3 on the x, negative 2 on the y. So negative 3, negative 2. And then our last quadrant is, of course, quadrant 4, where now the x moves back to the positives, but the y is staying in the negatives. So x values are positive, y values are negative. So here you would have something like, let's say over here, this would be positive 7 and then negative 3. So positive 7 on the x, negative 3 on the y. Okay? Now you can also have points between quadrants. Just make sure you're knowing where you're going. The right is your positive x's, left is your negative x's, up is your positive y's, down is your negative y's. And you'll usually have these 5s around to show that. So like, let's say a point up here on the line, well, you didn't move anywhere on the x or the y. In any direction on the x, you're just touching the y, so x would have to be 0, and then y would be positive 3. A point over here, like moving towards left, you're moving left to the negative 3 on the x, but you didn't move anywhere on the y, so now y is 0. Okay? So it just depends on what direction and what axis you're on. So if you're on an axis, one of these values should be 0, whether it's x or y. If you're on the y-axis, that means the x should be 0. If you're on the x-axis, that means the y should be 0. Even over here, if we're on right on 4, 4 would be y, x, but 0 would still have to be y. So what you're going to have to do for some of the questions with this, you're definitely going to need to be able to graph. So really you're just taking points, like if they're giving you the point, like let's say point A is negative 3, 2, point B is 1, 0, and point C is 2, negative 4. They'll have a graph out for you, and you just have to find these points. So like for A, the first point you click on would represent A. So you'd have negative 3, 2. Remember, you do the x first. So count negative 3 on the x, so 1, 2, 3, and then find 2 on the y. Positive 2 would be up. So negative 3 on the x, positive 2 on the y, you'd put your point A there. Then you'd do B next. Positive 1 on the x, 0 on the y, so you would stay there. Oh, that's just like let's be. And then C, positive 2 on the x, negative 4 on the y, so that would be down here. Okay, and if you accidentally click somewhere, you can always click on the point again and drag it around. So that would be basically what needs to happen for that. They also may ask you to go the opposite direction. Like they may give you the graph and have the blanks for the points, and you'd have to know what the points are. So like if you didn't have this part and they would give you B, you should be able to look at this and say this is 1 on the x, 0 on the y, so 1, 0. A would be negative 3, positive 2, so at that point would be negative 3, positive 2. So you should be able to go back and forth from either one of these. Okay, and that's the basics of all the stuff in 2.1.